Hey, it's Ron, and I want to tell you a story about business and how that story changed everything. It's January 6, 1907, and Giovanni, the caretaker for a new apartment building in Rome's San Lorenzo district, is dragging two mismatched tables into a drafty ground floor room. The landlord of the building told him a teacher would be arriving, some doctor from the university, to open a school for children. He doesn't understand it. The neighborhood's full of workers, not scholars. The parents barely have time to eat, let alone send their kids to school. He wipes dust off of a windowsill and watches a few of those same kids playing in the courtyard, barefoot, shouting, wild. He's been told they're the ones she'll be teaching, the ones everyone else has given up on. The woman arrives carrying a box of brushes, paper, and something that looks like little tiny blocks of wood. She smiles, thanks him, and asks if he can find a broom and some nails. He nods, but keeps his thoughts to himself. He's heard she's not even paying rent for the space, that the building owners are letting her use it because they think that'll keep the kids from wrecking the halls again. As he hammers up a small shelf, he wonders what kind of school could start with no desks, no books, and no tuition. And he doesn't know that by the time those kids leave this room, the way the world teaches children and trains minds for generations will never be the same. But how does a dusty room with no desk become the birthplace of a new way of learning? Why would a handful of children no one believed in become the proof that education could work differently? And on January 6, 1907, how did one quiet experiment in a Roman apartment building ignite a revolution in how the world teaches? From Business Basics, I'm Ron Trucks, and this is Business History, the daily podcast where we explain the stories that changed business forever. Throughout history, every date of the year has a story where business reshaped the world. Today, January 6th, that story takes us to 1907. Maria Montessori opens her first school in Rome. Maria arrives early the next morning, before the first children. The room still smells like plaster and damp stone. She sweeps the floor herself again and arranges the few things she has: low tables, small chairs, and a stack of rough wooden blocks she designed in her university lab. See, Maria Montessori isn't a traditional teacher. She's a physician. Actually, she's Italy's first licensed female doctor. And she's spent the last decade studying how children learn. What she's learned defies convention. Kids aren't empty vessels waiting for instruction. They're natural scientists, built to explore if adults would just get out of the way. This school in San Lorenzo is her chance to prove it. 50 children from the poorest families will fill the room. Most have never even seen a classroom. Some can barely speak clearly. Everyone around her expects chaos. You know what she does? She gives them freedom. Materials they can touch, tools they can master, a broom to clean their space, plants to water, puzzles to solve, silence when they choose it. Within weeks, the noise fades and concentration replaces it. When a visiting inspector asks what miracle she's performed, she just smiles and said, "I didn't teach them. I showed them how to learn." Word spreads fast. Reporters from Rome's newspapers start calling the place the School of Miracles. Parents line up outside the courtyard wanting to know how their children, once called hopeless, now read, write, and help each other tie shoes. Montessori's ideas, self-directed learning, respect for curiosity, and discipline through independence, feel radical in a country still built on obedience and repetition. Educators visit to see for themselves. Some dismiss it as luck. Others take notes, copy the furniture, and leave with a new sense of possibility. Within a few years, more children's houses open across Italy. Government ministers ask her to train teachers. Publishers print her manuals in multiple languages. And beyond the classroom, Business leaders begin to notice something different about the children raised this way. They ask questions. They think for themselves. They don't freeze when the rules change. Montessori's little school isn't just improving education, it's reshaping how societies grow their talent. She's turning curiosity into infrastructure, producing the kind of adaptable minds the 20th century will definitely need. By 1910, what began as a favor in a rented courtyard has become a movement, and the woman once mocked for her softness has proven that freedom, when structured with purpose, can build stronger minds than fear ever could.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Within a decade, the Montessori method travels farther than anyone in San Lorenzo could have imagined. By 1915, she's speaking in London and San Francisco. Her classrooms are replicated from Spain to India. Wooden blocks become learning materials. Teachers study prepared environments. Children guide their own lessons, and parents begin to notice something that no exam ever measured: confidence. Maria's method isn't just an education model. It's an operating system for human potential. Her approach flips the hierarchy. Teachers guide, students lead. Curiosity, that's what drives it all. By the middle of the 20th century, Montessori alumni are building companies, writing code, and designing products in ways traditional schooling never encouraged. Her classrooms and their approaches shape people who question everything. People like Jeff Bezos, Larry Page, Sergey Brin. Along with them, artists, inventors, and educators push the world forward by starting with that same idea: freedom within structure. What began as one woman's social experiment in a poor Roman apartment complex became a blueprint for global creativity. And in the century since, every time a company asks employees to think outside the box, they're borrowing from a classroom that never actually had one. I'm Ron Trucks, and this is Business History, the daily podcast that finds the turning points behind the headlines. To hear more stories like this, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. And if you're enjoying the stories, don't forget to subscribe and leave a quick review. It helps more people find the story behind the business. And do you actually want to understand business without the fluff or the buzzwords or the MBA language? Start by visiting us at businessdailypodcasts.com.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.